Wow. Okay. This is a big one. So let me just set the expectation right now. Grab a drink, grab some snacks, because we're in this for the long haul. This is such a big twab, even larger than the last one that came out. I didn't even realize they'd be able to make it larger than the last one, but there you go. So I'm going to be stuttering a lot. I'm going to be talking over a lot of words a lot. I'm going to be filling in words that aren't even there because I'm reading so much text all in one go. We're just gonna get through it. All right. So without further ado, let's crack on with this week of Bungie's twab. So this week in Destiny, we have more details to share from the Edge of Fate. We are getting closer and closer to July 15th. So today we are talking about the incoming weapon tuning as well as some economy changes. I'm actually going to zoom in here just to make this a little bit. There we go. That's better. And let's not forget about the developer live stream from Tuesday, the Gear Tiering Dev Insight article from yesterday, and the other topics you can see below. Alright, so here is basically the bullet points here. So we've got a live stream that will happen on Tuesday. We've got a new Right at the 9 challenge. We've got announcing our world first race host. Oh, that's interesting. GCX, here we go. Kepler restricted brief. Okay. Weapons, power, and economy updates. Destiny 2 open access, okay. And Bungie Day is almost here. I want to know what's actually happening for Bungie Day, to be honest with you. Alright, so first of all, we got thanks for watching. We hope you all enjoyed our second live stream for the Edge of Fate. We cover some of the new activities, rewards, and systematic changes coming in July 15th. We started our stream with the Edge of Fate launch trailer, and you can watch that just below. Spooky, right? To be fair, I didn't really get spooky vibes, but alright, it's cool. I got spooky vibes from the Witch Queen and the Shadowkeep trailer though. We covered a lot of topics during our first session. Unlockable world tier difficulties for the campaign, side quests that you unlock after completing it, Matable Banes, a 3-player activity that uses the abilities you unlock in Kepler. The new destination is filled with many secrets, and Guardians are tasked with uncovering all of them and choosing how hard a challenge they want to face. Also, what's going on with all that fungi? Apparently it unlocks all that dark matter, right? So we have an image of the directory here. Oh, by the way, I actually have water because we are going to be going through a lot of this. So next we talk in depth about the portal. We have a lot of activities available in our new hub, from Onslaught to some favorite seasonal activities like the Coil. You can choose from a big pool of modifiers to tune the experience and up the challenge in order to get bonus rewards. The goal is to make activities not only more rewarding and personalized, but you will also be able to make them easier to understand. There's also a ton of new ways to enjoy your favorite game with solo ops, fireteam ops, and crucible ops, and also pinnacle ops, plus a section dedicated to activities like exotic missions that will get their unique rewards. To make it easier to understand and follow, we have reworked Guardian ranks to focus on the portal and its activities. Okay, fine. So to level up your Guardian rank, it's going to guide you through the portal and how to use it, basically. For new players, this might be an absolutely fantastic system. For veteran players, doesn't really, it's just quality of life for us, I guess. All right, going on from that, we also have where it says, we also have the new seasonal hub with weekly ranks, daily and weekly challenges, and tons more gear to earn, and that resets every week. That's cool. If you complete the conquests also available at this hub and progress through the different difficulty settings, you will also earn the renewed Conqueror title. Don't worry, if you have already gilded it a few times, you will keep your mark. So for any of you Conquerors out there, I guess that's a benefit. And we didn't forget about the power in the Edge of Fate. We have a whole section in this twid about it with so many more details. So we'll skip it here. Just keep scrolling and you'll get there. For now, just don't get too worried when you're at power level 10 when you start playing our next expansion. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Being power level like 20, 40 and above, so now going back down to 10, that's like a huge visual decrease, you know what I mean? Hope this recap of the live stream helped everyone get an understanding of the most relevant topics we covered. If you want to get a whole picture though, why not watch the whole stream by yourself? It's right below, and there's the stream just there. I actually have the stream on my YouTube channel as well. I've got 2 of them actually. I've got the VOD if you want to go to my live streams and check that out. If you want to just see the raw if you just want to see the raw whole entire thing. Or I've got just a moments video where I break down the main bits that really you just want to kind of stick around for. Moving on from this, we have Right of the Nine final update. As we move into the 2 final weeks of Right of the Nine, we wanted to share some updates coming next week to close with a bang. Do you remember Daybreak? Yeah, the old school modifier where you abilities recharge like crazy. See, this is why I get so thrown off, because of like the way they type, the way they structure their grammar, and the words that they use in sentences is so unnecessary sometimes. And then you get stuff like this. Yeah, remember the old school modifier where your abilities recharge like crazy? How fun would it be to turn it on for the Explorer mode version of Right of the 9 dungeons for this week? Because it's happening right now. Fetch your friends, put on some destructive supers, and go farm like mad. Remember, on top of the weapons, you can also use your non-area manifolds to earn non-area engrams that contain some fan-favorite cosmetics. Not the Trials of the Night Season 2 or Season 3 ornaments though, I will just add that because that's exactly what I'm looking for. Additionally, we are in preparation for the Edge of Fate. 2 Servants of the Nine are bringing gifts to the Guardians. Both Xur and the Emissary will have desirable exotics that will be part of the featured gear on day 1 of the new expansion. Bring your strange coins and non-area manifolds and snag some loot. Oh, that's another incentive to just keep them stacked even after the Right of the Nine stuff. As a final reminder, here's a picture for the next 2 weeks. Alright, so we've got the current week, which is Prophecy is featured with increased rewards. Until July 15th, players can earn non-area engrams. July 1st, players may purchase non-area engrams using 350 non-area manifolds at the Emissary. Okay, well, we already know all this. They posted this on the Twitter as well, so I'm going to skip past this. Oh my god. The Star Horse has a headset now, or at least is a headset stand. We also have one last Right of the Nine dungeon. Hurrah, before we dive into our new expansion. The team at Destiny Tracker are running 2 weekends of challenges around Prophecy and Spire of the Watcher to wrap up the Right of the Nine. Deliberately, they kept out Ghost of the Deep because it is the least liked dungeon in all 3 of them. From July 4th to July 6th PT, complete Prophecy on Eternity mode as fast as you can, and from July 11th to 13th PT, complete Spire of the Watcher as fast as you can, solo, duo, or with a full team. You can win prizes such as silver, 1 9-exclusive Star Horse inspired headphone holder fabricated by Hench and Scrap, and a premium Right of the Nine PC. Oh my god, a Right of the Nine themed PC created by Overkill. That's sick. Do you have a picture of the PC? They do. Oh my god. Finally, all participants who sign up will receive 9 crowned emblems. Destiny Tracker will provide more details on how to redeem. For more information, blah blah blah. That's cool. 9 crowned the 9 crowned emblem. That's really cool. Alright, World's First Race is back. This is the one that's going to catch people's attention. Oh my god, that emblem is gorgeous. I really like that. Guardians, we have a new raid ready for all of you on July 19th, and you know what that means. There will be a new World's First race where the most capable teams around the globe will conquer contest mode difficulty and fight to be the first team to complete the raid. Okay, lovely. I love watching these. I've never really participated in a day 1 raid, but yeah, it's fun to watch. We're excited to confirm that we have partnered once again with the wonderful CB Gray and Evan F 1997 to bring you the raid race action live from Bungie HQ this time. Stay tuned next week for next week's TWID for more information on what channels to follow, the schedules, and international hosts we will support. Okay, that's cool. Bungie at GCX. Oh wow, we actually have a GCX emblem here as well. That's pretty cool. Guardians, we're also excited to share something special coming our way at GCX 2025. That's GuardianCon, by the way, for any of you guys that don't know. On July 25th, from 3 to 4:30 p.m. EST, we're hosting an exclusive developer panel that'll take you deep into the heart of Destiny 2's storytelling process. You know that Alison Lurs is going to be there for that. Threads of Fate, exploring Destiny 2's narrative craft, will give you an unprecedented look at how one expansion story goes from initial pitch deck all the way through development to launch, with a special focus on the Edge of Fate. You'll get to see behind the curtains of our creative process and discover what it takes to craft the narrative that drives your Guardian's journey. You can imagine Bife is going to want to attend that one. We're thrilled to have Destiny 2 narrative team members Alison Lurs, there you go, at least you just said that, and Hannah Flipsky joining us for the deep dive. These are the talented minds behind some of your favorite story moments, and they'll be sharing insights you won't find anywhere else. Our very own DMG04, good old Dylan, will be moderating the discussion, and we've got a special guest lined up that we think you'll love. Maybe it's probably a YouTube content creator, let's be honest with you. Anyway, find out more about GCX, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so we know all that. Now we've got Brief 001, or 001. Vanguard, Kepler restricted brief, all points bulletin, Guardian operative, dispatch contains restricted information for select fire teams and will purge its data upon closure. The House of Exile, classification, Elixni House, unknown fungal symbiosis, hazards, standard Elixni armament, mines and traps, modified armament, strand spear and stasis screen, love that, heightened reactions and subdued pain response, telepathically receptive. And then we've got intel here where it says the House of Exile is a lower house made predominantly from the remains of other houses defeated at Twilight Gap. However, according to the cryptarchy, the Exile banner predates Twilight Gap, albeit without an official title. It was simply a collection of malcontents, outcasts, and, well, exiles during the long drift to Earth from Reese. While many of the exiles reconstituted into a house on the moon, Luna, a subsect of the house broke away prior to the Battle of Twilight Gap, refusing to invade Earth. They retreated to the edge of the Sol system to live in peace. The exiles on Kepler are believed to be those defectors. Paracausal weaponry has been encountered. Guardians should take maximum precautions during the engagements on Kepler. Select House of Exile armaments have been noted to contain stasis crux cores or compressed strand tangles suspended in a mixture of Elixni technology reminiscent of House Salvation forces under the Witness and an unknown energetic charge. That's really cool. By the way that they fly around on these jetpacks, I think, is really, really sick. I do quite enjoy that. Hidden log transcript, Chakheap 1024. The following transcript documents the house's acquisition of strand and stasis technology. Do you see it now? The gifts of which I spoke? Here they are set before you, as I foretold. The deathless come for us, and so the giver arms our people in defiance. Through time and space I have claimed, at the giver's behest, lost and sidecast technology of our broken siblings on light-conquered worlds. Where they fell, we stand. By the will of the giver. And giver is a capital here, so this is referencing, something or someone. Of note, exiles on Kepler seem to have undergone a sort of fungal symbiosis with the local fauna, I don't know what that says, sorry. It is unknown why or how this happened, but the fungus appears to feed from the dark matter of the singularity, the exiles reaver at the heart of Kepler. Yeah, okay, well, we knew that. There appears to be a sort of stylistic hierarchy among the exiles. While it affords no actual authority, the size, shape, and unique features of fungal growth spotted on their armor or hosted on their chitin impact relationships, respect, and clout within the house. Okay, that's also very interesting. Initial reports suggest the House of Exile is not always hostile and, at one time, even worked alongside the Aeonian population of Kepler. We hope you are enjoying these short lore pieces. More in the coming weeks. Yeah, I am actually really enjoying them. Alright, weapons tuning for the Edge of Fate. Hello again from the Destiny 2 Sandbox team. Oh, great. Last time I read the tweet from the Destiny 2 Sandbox team, their grammar just made me want to eat my brain and spit it out. Like most other areas of the game, weapons have gotten many changes in the Edge of Fate, so let's get right into it. Before that, though, a reminder that yesterday we published a Dev Insight article focused on weapons and gear tiering. We hope that it helps you understand the new system a bit better and that you can use it as a source of truth moving forward. In case you have not read it yet, here's the link, blah blah blah. Okay. Weapon archetypes. We've got machine guns here, so we're trying to figure out something new for Destiny on machine gun stage reloads. Machine guns generally have very long reload animation times that can be very punishing when cancelled. We have also added several checkpoints from which the animation can now be resumed if it is interrupted mid reload. That's pretty cool. This is a feature we are rolling out on machine guns first, but we plan to expand on this to other weapon types in the future. Now have a stage reload. Okay, yeah, no, that's really cool. I think that's absolutely needed, because when you go to reload a machine gun and then you get caught up for whatever reason and you've got to start the reload animation again, It's just painful, man. It's actually one of the reasons why I don't use machine guns. Alright, next up we've got glaives here. So the projectile charges for glaives in Heresy have been generally positive for the archetype, but ended up opening up a small window where it was actually a nerf to the weapon's projectile performance, particularly at short range and PvP. We've made some adjustments to account for this issue, so reduced projectile tracking strength at very close range to avoid behavior that made the projectiles less accurate. Alright, Reconstruction. No, I really like Reconstruction. Please don't nerf it. I love Reconstruction as a perk. Reconstruction has been underperforming on rocket launcher weapons since the nerf that increased the time it needed to start filling up a weapon's mag, so we're greatly increasing the ammo transferred on each activation. Yes, okay. I never noticed that, but great. Increase the amount of ammo transferred per activation from 10 to 25. Lovely. Amazing. Paracausal Affinity. We generally think it's pretty important for players to be able to anticipate when a damage buff is going to expire, since having one active is not something players are often making heat of the moment gameplay decisions about. Alright, so added a visible timer to the buff. Okay, cool. A visual indicator is obviously good. Next up, we've got Kinetic Tremors. So Kinetic Tremors feels good to use on fast-firing weapons, but it can also underperform a bit on slower-firing ones. Decrease shots to activate on certain weapons and subfamilies. High-impact auto rifles require 9 hits down to 12. Okay, brilliant. That's great. Aggressive and high-impact scout rifles require 5 hits down from 6. Hand cannons have received specific tuning. Okay, cool. Oh, right. It goes into little subsections. So, aggressive hand cannons are down from 6. So, it's from 4 to 6. Or, sorry. It is 4 from 6. Adaptive hand cannons are 5 from 6. And precision hand cannons are unchanged and still require 6 shots. Okay, fine. 1-2 punch. This was covered in our 619 TWID on melee changes, but we're copying it here for posterity. Now works with all melee abilities. Perk active time increased from 1.22 to 3 seconds. Alright, we've got Attrition Orbs. So Attrition Orbs is currently too powerful on area denial grenade launchers, but it is somewhat underwhelming on other weapon types. So from there, we have got increased perk progress by 20% across the board, reduced perk progress by 80% with area denial grenade launchers. This is surprisingly not as noticeable as it sounds. Yeah, it sounds insane. Increased perk progress by an additional 30% on swords. Fine. Eager Edge and Valiant Charge. Oh my god, it is the speedrunners, baby. Eager's Edge aggressively targets tracking. Eager's Edge's aggressive target tracking presents 2 problems. It makes it more frustrating to use this perk from ability in PvE. Yes, it does, because it just locks onto an enemy that's like halfway across the map. And it makes it somewhat oppressive in PvP. Valiant Charge has some similar issues. It can track to unintended targets relatively often, which undercuts some of the repost fantasy that the perk functionality suggests. So while active, melee search angle is now reduced by 50% at the start of a lunge range by 88% of the... Okay, so again, it's just generically a buff. So wait, so it's getting a buff then. That's actually really good. And the next point, it says, this requires the player to look more at their target to strike it, improving specific target acquisition for PvE and requiring it to be more of a direct look in PvP. I think that's an overall positive charge, right? Quality of life. Alright, Chain Reaction is next. As fun as Chain Reaction plus Hatchling Interaction is, it is inconsistent with other perk combinations, which are generally not allowed to chain explosions together. It's important to be as consistent as possible when we handle these interactions. We don't want our player's ability to tell if a weapon roll is good or not to be dependent on knowing which perk chain with each other. Yeah, true. Threadlings created by weapon perks no longer activate the detonation from Chain Reaction. That is sure. Chain Reaction, Dragonfly, and Firefly. These perks currently deal different amounts of damage to different targets based on the type of weapon that activates the perk. In many cases, this makes these perks even worse on weapons that do not use them well in the first place. It's harder to get a precision kill with a submachine gun than it is in a hand cannon, but Dragonfly also deals less damage when a submachine gun activates it. We want all perks to feel stronger on different weapon types for obvious reasons, such as how often a weapon gets precision hits, rather than unintuitive ones. Yeah, I think that's a very, very fair point. So it says here, Chain Reaction Dragonfly and Firefly no longer uses weapon archetype scaling against combatants and instead uses a new perk damage scaling that is more normalized between different weapon types. So this buffs many weapons with these perks against most targets. Here are some of the biggest winners from this change. Fusion Rifles deal 41% more chain reaction damage to minor combatants. Submachine Gun deals 43% more Dragonfly and Firefly damage to minor combatants. That's really cool. Auto Rifles deal 47% more Dragonfly damage to minor combatants. Linear Fusions deal 165% more chain reaction damage to minor combatants and at least 124% more chain reaction to all other combatants, very slightly based on combatant type, fine. Again, it'll be really cool to test all of this out in the armory in the tower as well. And then it finishes off here with Swords deal 123% more chain reaction damage to minor combatants and at least 193% more chain reaction damage to all other combatants, very slightly based on based on combatant overtype. Okay, fine. In the interest of transparency, we want to call out the 3 instances where this change results in a nerf of at least 5% decreased damage. We do not expect any of these to have serious impacts on balance or perk desirability. So hand cannons deal 20% less Dragonfly and Firefly damage to that's not going to be an issue. Same with this, to be honest with you. That's just not going to be an issue at all. Alright, moving on, we've got champion interaction changes. In Season 20, we're adding the ability for subclass verbs, ignition, jolt, suppression, etc. to stun champions and have since added these verbs to weapon traits and various exotic weapons through rebalances. We quickly realized these weapons had hard issues when paired with anti-champion effects from sources like Artifact or Radiant. To prevent erratic behavior, we barred certain exotics from gaining external anti-champion capabilities. It has become unclear to the player which exotic weapons are excluded, so we decided to address this issue formally. I'm going to take a sip because my mouth is extremely dry. We have now made certain exotic weapons, most of which apply to a subclass verb through gameplay, intrinsically anti-champion and will adhere to the following soft rule from now on. Okay, so what is that? Weapons that intrinsically have the anti-champion symbol in the weapon tray cannot receive anti-champion capabilities from the artifact or from Radiant Light effect. Otherwise, they can receive external anti-champion capabilities and be able to continue their subclass verb anti-champion subclasses of verb anti-champion capabilities. Exotic weapons. Oh my god, we're gonna have to sit up for this one, boys. Alright, so we've got Vigilance Wing, Hierarchy of Needs, DMT, Duality, Navigator, Wicked Implement, Heart Shadow, World Line Zero, Devil's Ruin, Tommy's Matchbook, Winter's Bite, and that's anti-champion changes. Okay, there's a lot of there's a lot of exotics here. Alright, cool. Well, let's start from the start. So, Vigilance Wing's exotic trait, Last Stand, felt left behind by things like the Electry origin trait, so we have made a change that will allow it to be active when running solo in PvE activities. See, now that I've read so much, my speech is like all over the place, just seeing the same text on the same background. It messes me up. Anyway, the Last Stand bonus is now active when running solo in PvE activities. Next, we've got Hierarchy of Needs. Hierarchy of Needs is a cool weapon that currently restricts the player's actions too much. We wanted to increase this flexibility with the weapon while keeping its fantasy intact. And while we're at it, we let it interact with other bows wielded by your allies or yourself. So players now gain charges of Guidance Ring with any hit from Hierarchy. Oh my god, oh my god. Really? With any hit from Hierarchy of Needs, and now only needs 3 charges to deploy the ring. Hierarchy spawns Guidance Rings for duration from 13 to 20 seconds. Oh my god. Oh my god. Guidance Ring now rotates the faces. Oh my god. Players are now limited to 1 Guidance Ring in the world per player. Spawning a second one will remove the previous one. All bows now spawn missiles when fired through the... That's insane. Yes, all bows. Oh my god. My camera stopped recording at the end there, but yeah, wow, that's insane. Max actually messaged me saying that bows are going to be meta, and I see why now. Fixing the issue where a hierarchy seeking missiles would not play destination visual effects when colliding with world geometry. That's insane. Okay. Next up, we've got DMT. DMT is a little bit of a smaller one. So DMT has developed a reputation in the Crucible over its years in game, but has always struggled a bit in PvE. We've made some adjustments to help it cancel out its long reload time and reward players from landing more headshots. So each stack of cranial spike now grants plus 3.4% damage versus combatants max 17% at 5 stacks plus 1 rounds reloaded. Okay, fine. It's whatever, I don't use that. Next up, we've got Duality. The previous set of changes to Duality were good, but didn't do quite as much as what we were hoping. We've relaxed the trigger on its trait perk to allow it to ramp into good single target damage more consistently, added a secondary activator for on black wings, now gives the buff when landing most of your pallets on a target. Moving on, we've got the Navigator. I actually really like the Navigator. I don't use it, but I do like it. Navigator is an interesting exotic, but it's felt a bit one trick for its woven melt and tangle creation. We've added a bonus to the weapon while the wielder has woven melt to let it excel while you are using it for its original purpose. So, what does that look like? That is, when the user has woven melt, increased damage to 25% PvE and 5% in PvP. Wow, you actually get a... Wow, okay. You get a damage buff in PvP. That's interesting. Increased ammo generation stat. Okay, fine. Next up, we've got Wicked Implement. We've shifted Wicked Implement to a faster fire rate to better align itself with the gameplay fantasy. With our recent changes to how Stasis interacts with champions, we've also made Wicked Implement to be anti-overload intrinsically to align it with the new Stasis role in the sandbox. Now is a rapid fire RPM. Now takes one additional hit and to start slowing and to freeze to account for its faster rate of fire. Increased magazine size to 20 and is now intrinsically anti-overload. Alright, so again, pretty cool. Next up, we've got Heart Shadow, a big constrictor for a lot of heavy swords. It's just how fast they chew up the ammo, or chew through ammo as they type it up here. It makes it hard to choose when and where to use them, especially for a weapon like Heart Shadow that very much wants you to use it to clear out chaff by peeking in and out of invisibility. I can't stand the way that they type these, man. So these changes, we've leaned harder into that fantasy. So increase ammo reserves, reduce cost of heavy attack from 3 to 4, or from 2, sorry, from there. 2, 3, from 4. I'm losing my mind because this twab's a million words long and they're just, oh my god, these twabs. Added, defeats while shots in the dark is active, makes you invisible once more. Okay, great. World Line Zero. World Line Zero has always been a fun sword to play with, but is largely falling out of favor ever since it's lost its ability to let you skate. Alongside the introduction of Eager's Edge, to give it more of a defined niche, we are leaning into its Tesseract ability, emphasizing add clear via rapid, nimble teleports. Increase lunge distance of the heavy Tesseract attack by 3 meters. Removed the ability to chain 2 blink attacks back to back. Added a new effect. Defeating a target with Tesseract allows you to Tesseract again for a short duration. These extra blink attacks cost less ammo and consume less guard energy. That's cool. Alright, Devil's Ruin. Devil's Ruin is another exotic that has felt a little bit one trick for a long time now. We've reworked the weapon to remove its fire on release behavior, as well as making the beam mode more of a reward once it has been enabled. So remove the fire on release behavior. Beam is now behind special reload. Kills with the weapon makes fire sprites, and picking up a fire sprite enables the special reload. Beam now scorches on hit and ignites on kill. Increased magazine size to 20. Is now intrinsically anti-unstoppable. So that's just an overall buff then. So that's really cool. Alright, I think lastly, no, not lastly. So we've got now Tommy's Matchbook. Tommy's Matchbook runs into issues with survivability and overall usability. These changes focus on improving that experience, allowing players to maintain ignition trigger even if they stop shooting for a moment, and providing intrinsic avenues to heal back lost health without completely removing build crafting potential. We also wanted to provide a higher incentive for players to hip fire this weapon and improve how self damage is communicated to the user and to other players. So, general here, added a burning screen effect while the player takes self-damage from ignition trigger. Other players who are taking self-damage from the ignition trigger now leave a burning effect surrounding their model. Ignition trigger, the HUD buff now appears as a bar. While ignition trigger is active, the bar charges as you fire at the weapon and drains when you don't. So as the bar has some charge, ignition trigger will remain active. Okay, that's visually better. Next up, we've got heatsink. So hip fire self damage decreased by 50% less damage when ADS self damage. That's insane. Previously 35% less damage. Oh my god. Okay. And then catalyst here. So removed improved health regen. Now final blows while ignition trigger is active grants cure ×1 to the user. Scorch on hit is unchanged. Alright, and just below that, which is the final one here, we've got Winter Bite. With the massive update to how melee damage works, this always on effect on Winter Bite ended up being a bit too much free damage, especially in comparison to swords. Like Wicked Implement, Winter's Bite is now intrinsically anti-overload to align itself to the changes made to Stasis Shatter, Champion Stunning. Okay, and again, this is why I get messed up so easily. Reduced enhanced melee damage with ammo to plus 20% versus bosses, down from plus 50%. This is to account for now being able to receive melee damage bonuses from a variety of sources, is now intrinsically anti-overload. Okay, cool, that's fine. Alright, now we've got anti-champion changes. The following weapons have not been rebalanced, but have been given anti-champion capabilities intrinsically. So, anti-unstoppable Queensbreaker, Salvation's Grip, I use that, Dragon's Breath. Anti-overload is Darcy, Two-Tail Fox, and Tractor Cannon. Conditional finality can be anti-overload or anti-unstoppable depending on which element. Oh, that's really cool. That makes it really viable for GMs. Alright, regarding PvP, for those of you looking for PvP tuning numbers, we're aware of the math in terms of balancing around fixes, health values, and the new stat damage bonuses. We have our finger on the trigger, and we are aimed at a number of targets, but we want to make sure that the weapons and perks we choose to tune actually become balance issues instead of preemptively nerfing a bunch of builds for playstyles before you are even able to try them out. Once it is known how realistic it is to achieve certain stat combos and what trade-offs those stat splits enforce, we'll have a more complete picture to determine how problematic these builds actually are in Crucible. We'll be watching and gathering your feedback, and we're standing by ready to nerf it, basically. So literally, it basically is a case of we're gonna wait to see how broken something is, and then we'll do something about it. Because right now, they just don't know what that is. Or what that's going to be. Alright, power in the Edge of Fate. With the reimagining of Destiny 2's core game experience comes a refreshing version of players' power. We've overhauled how you earn power and what it means to your journey across the season to be a more meaningful experience. We've also removed weekly barriers and are giving you more agency in choosing how you want to level up. I love that because when I needed like a pair of boots and I just couldn't get my hands on it for that week, I had to wait another week in order to even try again. And more often than not, I would get it done on the Tuesday, so I'd have to wait an entire 7 days to try, and it just never worked out for me. Earning power will be more intuitive than ever before, most activities even offering a reward forecast that enables you to plan your rewards and enables you to plan your rewards, increase your power by overcoming greater challenges, and earn higher tiers of both armor and weapons that come with additional stats and benefits. Again, we knew all about that in the live stream. Refreshing power, we know about refreshing the power band, we know all about that because we watched the live stream. Seasonal bonus power, again, we know all about that because we watched the live stream. I can't wait for this weapon, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. So we know all about this. They spoke about all of this, and they spoke about infusion as well. I'm not going to dive too deep on that. Seasonal bonus, we know all about that because of the live stream. Economy updates in the Edge of Fate. Let's have a look here. In the Edge of Fate, we're taking a deep look at our core game activities, in-game economies, and rebuilding them along with the rest of the game. Core activities, Soda Ops, Fireteam Ops, Pinnacle Ops, Crucible, and Trials of Osiris will be your primary sources of Glimmer, Strange Coins, and Masterwork materials. These rewards will scale alongside your guild, with better rewards coming from higher difficulty content. Yeah, we know about that as well. Armor masterworking, again, we know all about this. I think this is just a more visual understanding of it, but yeah, we know all about this. Oh, here we go. The list of materials that can be safely deleted after July 15th: finest matter, weird dust like shards, microphasic data lattice, Byron bow, helium filaments, glacial star wards, and spin metal leaves. Activity reward changes: the Vanguard Ops Onslaught. Onslaught has been rebuilt to be part of the more core gameplay activity engine and will drop new tiered rewards. Okay, I mean, yeah, great, that's good. Brave Arsenal weapons will be moved to part of Xur's wares, only standard. Okay, fine. Zavala will no longer offer Onslaught achievements. Okay, fine. It's whatever. Grandmaster Nightfalls no longer exists as part of their purpose. Oh yeah, okay. They actually did mention that as well. You will experience Grandmaster difficulty, so it's not necessarily its own thing now. It's like a difficulty modifier that you would set. Again, they spoke about that in the live stream. Vendors. Oh, here we go. When you start playing the Edge of Fate, you'll notice the vendor reputation system has been removed from vendors in the tower, with the exception of Hawthorne. The new approach comes hand in hand with a rebalance of rewards throughout the game. Without going into too much detail, we can say that removing these reputation ranks allow us to be more rewarding with currencies and gear that drop from activities. With that in mind, here's a list of the additional changes coming to a fistful of vendors with the new expansion. We hope it helps you understand their new duties. So, obviously, Xur's getting a huge overhaul. Oh my god, Xur's actually the big one. Okay, so Xur will not sell legendary armor in the Edge of Fate. Xur will now sell 2 exotic armor pieces per class per week. Xur will continue to sell catalysts, but they have been moved to strange gear offers submenu. Xur will sell exotic class items every week. Xur will sell 9 legendary weapons per week. Xur has the Brave Arsenal weapons added to his inventory. Xur has had Legacy, Nightfall, and Trials weapons added to his inventory. That's pretty cool. Xur has had weapons from Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy added to his inventory. Xur has had Legacy, Comp, Crucible weapons added to his invent, and he will no longer sell Nightfall Ciphers, Gambit engrams, Crucible engrams, Vanguard engrams, and upgrade modules. Alright, 801. We have already covered 801's new duties in previous twids. They actually have indeed, so I'm not going to delve too deep on that because we've already gone through that in a previous one. Banshee 44, the Gunsmith. Reputation rank reward track has been removed. Bounties no longer provide Gunsmith reputation. Dismantling gear no longer provides Gunsmith reputation. Banshee will no longer sell upgrade modules. Gunsmith engrams have now been removed from the game. Okay. Legacy weapons will cost 1,000 or just 15,000 glimmer. And 3 enhancement cores. Cool. Rahul, the Cryptarch reputation ranks have been removed, so it's basically just the same across the board. They've all been removed basically. So new exotic armor in the Edge of Fate will be unlocked via completing legendary campaign and not through Rahul unlocked per class. Novel focusing exotic armor past expansions will be available to players immediately. No need to decrypt engrams to unlock it. Costs remain the same for that's really sick. Focusing sub menu has been rendered to put the most used. Okay, fine, I understand. Yeah, okay. Ghost mods, they already spoke about that. Osirian ciphers and Nightfall ciphers again. Wait, are they? Wait, actually no, they didn't say anything about that. Osirian ciphers and Nightfall ciphers will not have a use in the Edge of Fate, but they will remain in your inventory. We're not deleting them. We have plans for them in Destiny 2 Renegades, and we'll talk about that. Oh, that's interesting to keep hold of those. It's almost, but what's actually the expansion? Let me read this. The Destiny 2 expansion open access. Do you have friends interested in Destiny but hesitate to make that jump? Good news. Let them know how the Destiny 2 open access. Let them know about the Destiny 2 open access weeks. Starting from July 8th, that's next Tuesday, until July 22nd, all currently available Destiny 2 expansions, as well as 3 available episodes, will be available for free. That's insane. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want to try Destiny, maybe that's probably the best time to jump in. Alright, it's almost Bungie Day. We draw closer to that lucky 7. Last week, we covered some of our Bungie plans in partnership with the Bungie Foundation as part of continuing their mission to help reduce distress and suffering in children through entertainment, and to partner with humanitarian aid organizations in times of natural disaster and crisis. The team is here to talk about the 7th column chaos. We actually already spoke about that, so I'm not going to delve too deep on that. Know about this. know about this. Known issues. I hate this one. Memento shaders can be previewed in the armor management. This is not intended. I hate that. And mementos are not being considered for use on armor. I hate that. I hate it. Please just don't do that. And coming up to the finale of this, that was a long twid, but also a great one. Tons of information to digest there, so take it slow. Try to understand what it actually means. Maybe rely on your favorite content creators to get some different points of view. Or just wait to play the game and get a more hands-on experience. You do you, right? I literally say that to a lot of people. I'm just like, hey, you do you, man. The Edge of Fate and the Year of Prophecy as a whole will bring a lot of system changes to your favorite video game. Yes, we've said that a few times already, but it's still true. So, let's just add something more to this time to better understand everything you are going to need to play and test it. Words and videos only get us so far. The good thing is that we are almost there. Only 12 more days before you set foot on Kepler and discover all of its secrets. Bring your best fashion, Guardians. Destiny 2 community team. And we've got a little cheeky hyperlink here. What is the fashion? Of course. Brilliant. Anyway, guys, that was a long twid. I'm going to yet again pass all of this over to you guys. What do you think of this twid? What is the main thing that stood out to you? And what is the main thing that you are excited for when it comes to the Edge of Fate expansion? Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for going through this twid with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.